welcome back to Shota Aizawa Podfics. Today I'm reading What's Lost is Never Gone Forever, Chapter 5 and through 7. Sadly, this will be the end of the series until they post again, which will be happening soon from what I'm aware, because it's an unfinished series. So let's get started. Chapter 5. When he walked through the door, he was met with a silence, which isn't too unusual. What was weirdly different was that his parents were waiting for him on the couch with looks of pure annoyance. His father spoke at first in an angry voice. "Sit down, brat. We need to talk." Sitting down, he tried his hardest to avoid eye contact by looking down at the dirty brown voice. "So your school called." What did they say?" "They informed us that you had gotten injured during your lessons. So tell us, how can you be that stupid that you let yourself get burned in a lesson?" "Kachan did this." "You little liar. That boy would never hurt a fly." Now it was his mother's turn to speak up, equally as angry as his father. "Izuku, Midoriya, you are the aggressive one, not Katsuki. You are the one who always picks fights with the other students back in middle school. I am so disappointed in you for trying to place the blame of your own stupidity on someone else. Stand up, right now." "Why? You are being punished for all the lies that have been pouring out of that mouth of yours." "What? No, please don't." His pleading didn't do anything. It just fell on deaf ears as his father roughly grabbed his upper hand and dragged him to the basement, where he was suddenly thrown into darkness. The only light coming from the small window at the top of the wall was too high to reach, followed by the echoing sound of the door slamming shut and being locked inside. The basement was cold on his bare arms, and the icy cold from the floor was slowly seeping through the material in his pants. He crawled around in hopes of finding something, anything to sit on, but his luck may have it the room has been stripped bare of anything and everything. "Shit, Izuku, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm mostly fine. Where are you hurt?" "I think I twisted my ankle when he threw me, and I'm getting really cold." With that, Izuku started gently pressing his ankle to check if it's really sprained. When sharp pain shot through his ankle, he stops prodding and just sits there with Obo in front of him in sad silence. "You should probably get some sleep. You look wrecked. I'll stay here to look out for you." "What about your plans to follow Mr. Aizawa-sensei's on patrol?" "I've been doing that for the past 15 years. Staying with you is more important than that," he answered with a soft smile forming on his face. "Thank you, Oboro. It means a lot to not be alone," he replied with a weak smile. "Anytime. Try and get a decent night's sleep." "Yeah, I'll try. No promises, though. Trying is better than not trying. Night, Oboro. Night, Izuku." With that, Izuku lay down on the cold, dirty floor with curled up, hoping sleep would come quickly. Lucky for him, sleep came easily due to all the exercise he did that early afternoon. Even though he was fast asleep, it wasn't peaceful. His sleep was full of awful nightmares, reminding him that his parents hate him. A few hours passed by before he shot up from his curled up position on the floor, breast sallow and short. Everything is dark and cold, reminding him of where he is. "Izuku, are you okay?" "Yeah, it was just a nightmare. Do you want to talk about it?" "To be honest, I don't remember what it was about." "That's okay. What time is it?" "It's 5:15 in the morning, so I have about 45 minutes before they open that door so I can go to school." "You're not looking too good." "I'm really cold, and it's a little bit hard to breathe." I don't want to worry you, but I think you're starting to develop hypothermia." "At this point, I don't think I know how to worry." "That's not a good thing, Izu," he replies in a voice filled with worry. "I know, but there's nothing I can do about any of this." "You could tell Shota and let him help you." "That can only be known if they let me go to school, or I somehow manage to pull my phone from the thin air." "Did you have your phone on you?" "No, I left it in my locker." "Why?" "So my parents don't break it." Right, yes, that makes a lot of sense. They sit in silence after that, neither of knowing what to do. Hey, Obro. Yeah, I really don't feel very good. We were starting to develop hyperthermia. I just hope you can get help before it progresses too far. Not trying to be dumb, but my brain isn't really thinking straight. What would happen if it progressed too far? Where your organs would start to fail and you could die if treatment comes too late? Right, okay. Zoo, you're really starting to shiver quite badly. Yeah. Walking to the door to his homeroom, Shota immediately noticed one thing. Midoriya, who he fondly nicknamed Problem Child, was not in his desk. He wasn't even in the classroom to begin with. All right, where's the problem child? Nobody raised their hand. Instead, they all glanced at his desk before shaking their heads. So nobody knows where he is. No, Sensei. They all go out as one. Well, everyone but Bakugo, who doesn't care one bit. With one long sigh, he pulled out his phone to send a message to his boss. WhatsApp. To the rat. Did Midoriya's parents send you an email stating if he was going to miss school? To Shota. No, I have not received anything from anyone about Midoriya, but when I checked his phone, it showed he had been in the locker room all morning. Give me a few minutes to check the security cameras, then we'll get back to you. I'm gonna pause there for a second. Who has security cameras in the freaking locker rooms? God. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. To the rat. Right. Thanks. Right, everyone. There are no announcements for this morning, so be sensible and use the 15 minutes of homeroom to do any homework you supposedly forgot about. And keep quiet. Yes, Sensei, they cried in unison. Instead of getting into a sleeping bag to have a nap, Shota sits down at his desk, awaiting his boss's response. WhatsApp, one notification. To Shota. Well, Midoriya left his phone in his locker yesterday after school. If it was on purpose or he just forgot to collect it, it is unknown. Which explains his friend's location, but sadly not his location. To the rat. Thank you for this information. Do you think we need to look into this? To Shota. For now, no. He could just be sick if we don't hear anything from them by tomorrow, and he misses school again tomorrow. Then I will start an investigation just to make sure everything is okay. To the rat. Sure thing, rat. Just keep me posted. To Shota. Of course, I'll keep you posted. After reading that message, he felt a shiver go down his spine, which only ever means one thing. The rat is planning something. Shaking it off, he stands up just as the bell rings, signaling the end of homeroom. President Michael will be in shortly for your English lesson. Shota promptly walks out the door and heads to Class 3A for their lesson on law and ethics. In the hallway, he pauses. His husband, who smiles lovingly at him, and he smiles back. Many hours pass until it's finally time for lunch, so he heads towards his teacher's lounge where he spots his beautiful husband sitting on the couch eating his lunch. Shota walks forward and lays down on the couch with his head in his Ashi's lap, which surprises his husband, seeing as he doesn't normally show affection in front of their coworkers. So, is everything okay? Yes, just tired. Did you not get a nap during homeroom? No, I was messaging the rat. About what? If you knew about the problem child's whereabouts. Oh yeah, I noticed he wasn't in class. Is he sick? No clue. All we know about is he left his phone in school and he never showed up today. This doesn't sound good. No, it does not. But the rat said we can only open an investigation if he doesn't show up tomorrow. And we haven't heard anything from his parents regarding him. Okay, well, if you need anything from me, just ask, okay? I will. Thanks. Anytime, he said with a wide grin plastered on his face. Obro was worried that he had a darn good reason to be worried. Izuku's parents still have not opened the door to the basement, and Izuku's worse the longer he's down here. All he can do is keep him company while his hypothermia gets worse and worse, because being a ghost basically means he's useless in this situation. Izuku may still be conscious, but he can no longer form full sentences. The affair is taking too much out of him. He won't have hours worth of time once he eventually passes out. What's more worrying is that Izuku looks to be in pain, even though pain shouldn't come with hypothermia. So something else must be causing this pain. Hey Izu, how are you holding up? The skin on my leg is starting to stick to the floor, so not the greatest. I wish there was something I could do to help you, but why is the basement so cold anyway? My mom turned it into a freezer in case the kitchen freezer broke or got too full. Those people are absolutely crazy. You're telling me. They fell into a comfortable silence after that. Hey, Sho, I'm making chicken curry for dinner. Could you please set the table? Sure thing. What do you want to drink? Just some water would be great. No pro. Shota was cut off by his phone ringing. Checking the caller ID showed it was his boss. Who's that? It's the rat. Oh, I wonder why he's calling. Only one way to find out. With that final sentence, Shota clicked the answer and held the phone up to his ear. What do you want this time, rat? Oh, Shota, don't be like that. I am simply phoning to give an update on Midoriya. I thought you said we can't look into it until tomorrow. That is true, but I got impatient, so I started early and found something that is of concern. What would that be? I hacked into the security cameras that shows his apartment front door, and Midoriya has not left the house since he got home yesterday afternoon. He could just be sick. Well, that's true. There was another thing that caught my attention. What is it? About 30 minutes after Midoriya got home, his parents walked out the door with also what I identified as moving boxes. They also locked the door before loading up the car and driving off, and not to be seen in the security cameras again. So they abandoned him? He responded with a voice filled with anger. I'm afraid so, Nisu said sadly. I'm heading out now. Stay on standby if I need recovery, girl, Shota stated, now in pro-hero mode. Of course, Shota. Do keep me posted, but be prepared for the worst. We don't know what you could find now. I'll let you off the phone. You have work to do. Bye. Bye. As Shota was saying his goodbyes, he was already reaching for his capture weapon and goggles when his husband pulls the phone out of his clenched fist, a face full of concern. Hizashi puts the phone on the table by the door. Sho, what's wrong? Where are you going? Those who inform me that Midori has not left his apartment and his parents packed the car with moving boxes before driving away, and they have not returned. So the listener has been abandoned? Looks like it. Let me get my boots on. I'm coming with you. Shota watched from the door as his husband ran around the house, grabbing a bag and filling it with hoodies, snacks, water, and blankets. Basically anything to comfort the problem child if comfort was needed. Finally, Hizashi pulled on his boots, and they were out the door. Getting in the car, Shota turned the car on and reversed it out of the parking lot, while Hizashi pulled Midoriya's address up on Google Maps. Together, they drove to the apartment building, probably breaking a few traffic laws during the ride. After a while, Oboro comes to the realization that Izuku's breathing has become a lot more shallow and weak. Turning his head, he lets his gaze rest on the boy, seeing him slouch against the wall, arms no longer wrapped around his middle, instead they are resting on his lap and at his side. Panicked, he crawls closer, trying to see if he was breathing. After a few minutes, he sees his chest moving very slightly, so he reaches out to try and wake him. Hey, Izuku, you need to stay awake. Silence. When he gets no response or movement from the teen, he tries again, panic rising very quickly. Izuku, come on, please, he cries in desperation. Chapter 6. After 10 minutes of driving, they finally arrived at Midoriya's apartment building, parking in the only open parking space. They turn off the car and get out, making sure it's locked. Together they climb the stairs 2 at a time, all the way to the 5th floor. When they finally reach the top floor, they head to the apartment number 55, which is the other side of the cold, narrow hallway. Shota reaches the door only a few seconds before Hizashi. He takes his fist and starts banging on the door loudly in hopes Midoriya will come and open the door. After about 15 seconds, with no response, he tries again, this time more desperate. Midoriya, it's Aizawa and Yamada. Open the door. When still no movement or response came, Shota backed away from the door and kicked it in. Once inside, they split up, Shota taking the kitchen, lounge, and dining room, while Hizashi took the bedroom and bathrooms. The kitchen was completely empty of food and cutlery. The lounge looked like it hadn't been used in a few days, with no furniture, and the dining room had been stripped off of all chairs and tables. Hizashi was having no luck either. The master bedroom and bathroom were bare of everything. The only rooms that had things inside them were Izuku's room and bathroom, but he was nowhere to be found. After searching every room in the apartment, they met each other back in the hallway. Did you not find him? Hizashi asked worriedly. No, and guessing from your reaction, you haven't either. No, I didn't, but definitely hasn't left the place. His stuff and school backpack are all in his room. There must be something we're missing, like a secret room. Let's switch rooms and look along the walls and floors for any type of loose floorboard or hatch. Sounds good. Meet back here if we find nothing. Splitting up again, they take each other's rooms and begin their search. Looking up at the wall between Izuku's room and the master bedroom, he notices scratches in the wallpaper. Following the marks, he's led to a painting. Removing the painting from the wall, Shota's eyes zero in a heavy-duty lock. Hey, Zashi, I found something, he yells down the hall. What is it? There were scratch marks in the wallpaper leading to behind that painting. When I took down the painting, I saw that the heavy-duty lock and when you touch this part of the wall, it's much colder than the rest of the wall. Pressing his hand to the wall above the latch, he frowns in confusion. Yeah, I see what you mean. It almost feels like there's a homemade freezer behind here. Move aside so I can pick the lock, Shota replied, already moving toward the walls while taking his lock-picking tools out of his belt. Crouching down, he starts to pick the lock. It took a while, but he got there in the end. The wall swung open, and inwards in a screech, revealing a dark below freezing room. The two pro hero teachers couldn't see much aside a small staircase leading further into the dark. Standing up from his crouch position, Shota digs around in his utility belt and takes out two compact flashlights. Handing one to his husband, they turn them on and slowly creep into the room. After quickly searching for a light switch and finding none, they make their way slowly down the stairs. When they get to the bottom, they call out to their student, Midoriya, "Are you in here?" When only silence reaches their ears, they try again while shining their searchers around the room. Hey kid, it's us, Aizawa and Yamada-sensei. Shota's light catches something in the far corner of the room. Moving his light, he finds his green-haired student unconscious with bleeding lips and a pale face. Rushing towards him, Shota feels for a pulse. Hizashi, call an ambulance. Is he okay? No, he's not. His skin is cold to the touch, and he has a very weak pulse. My best guess is he has a severe case of hypothermia. Shit, okay. Ambulance said they will be here in 20 minutes. That's too long. We'll have to take him ourselves. Let's go then. Shota reaches towards his student, one arm going under his knees and the other one going to his back. Slowly and carefully, he picks them off the floor, bridal style. Holding him securely, both of them rush to the car. Opening the back door, he slides into the back seat of the car all while holding Midoriya to his chest. Hizashi grabs a few of the blankets they keep stashed in the boot and passes them to his husband, who immediately wraps the fluffy blankets around the green-haired student, hoping to warm him up, if only a little bit. Throughout the whole drive, Shota continues his attempts at waking the kid up. He fails miserably every time. His pulse isn't improving, and neither is his temperature. Not that they're in proper lighting, they can see how many injuries on the kid from where his skin had been stuck in the cold metal floors and walls. The injuries have taken on a faint yellow tinge, meaning the start of an infection. Zashi, how far are we? Just a few more minutes. How's the little listener holding up? He's not doing good. If he doesn't get treatment very soon, it will be too late. Luckily, the hospital is just down this road. Straight after Hizashi finished the sentence, they were pulling up to the emergency entrance. Stopping the car, his husband came around opened the back door for him. Excuse me, sirs, you can't stop here. This is an emergency bay. A nurse spoke up, sounding really annoyed. My student is suffering from severe hypothermia, and without immediate treatment, he won't survive. So, how about you do your job, or I'll make sure you're fired. My deepest apologies, sirs. Follow me. The nurse is quick to lead them into the hospital and down the hall to a private room where they are instructed to lay the kid on the bed. Sir, please go wait in the waiting room while my colleagues and I tend to your student. Please inform us when you are done. We would also like to request extra paperwork for abuse victims, Shota asked. Of course, the lady asked the reception. The lady at the reception will get that all sorted for you. Great, thank you, Hizashi responded with gratitude. One more thing. Yeah, they asked in unison. Move that car of yours. With that, she closed the door in their face. Walking alongside each other, they went back to the car and moved it into the parking lot by the main entrance. After that, Shota and Hizashi took a seat in the waiting area the nurse had directed them to earlier. which was located outside the double doors leading to the intensive care unit in the hero ward. It was only a few minutes of silence before Hizashi spoke in a voice that portrayed just how worried he was. I'm going to the cafeteria to get something to eat. Do you want anything? Just a coffee and a chicken sandwich if they have. Sure thing. I'll be back soon. Call me when you get an update about Midoriya. I will. And in the meantime, I'm going to get that paperwork from the front desk. A few more words are shared before Hizashi is turning around and walking towards the hospital cafeteria to get them both some food and drinks, and Shota is slowly making his way to the reception desk located on the other side of the dorm. Talking to the lady, other side of the room. Talking to the lady, he explains the situation and was very quickly handed the needed paperwork before she turned toward the desk phone to call the local police department and inform them of the situation at hand. The police informed him that they will send someone the next day to talk to the two pro heroes. With the paperwork in hand, Shota sat back down to fill it in. When he was done, he handed the stack back to the lady, who scanned it into the computer and updated his student files along with a note saying that Midoriya Hizashi and Midoriya Inko were not allowed to go anywhere near the kid. When she was done, Shota spoke up. Are there any updates on him? When will we be allowed to visit him? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know anything about the boy, but the doctor tending to him will come out and talk to you as soon as he can. Right, thank you. Of course, although I suggest you take a seat again. There's no telling how long this will take. Right. Hizashi returns just as he sits down again. He handed over the coffee and chicken sandwich before sitting down himself with a sigh. Have you heard anything from the doctors? No, I haven't. No one has ever walked through those doors. I'm worried, Shota. What if he is worse than we thought? Midoriya's a fighter. I'm sure he'll be okay. At that moment, a male doctor, who they recognized from earlier, walked through the double doors with a tablet in one hand and a worried expression on his face. Izuku Midoriya? He called out to the room. Him and his husband jumped up from their seats when they heard the kid's name, both turning towards the doctor. That's us, they both announced together. Are you his parents? No, we are his guardians, as of 30 minutes ago, came Shota's voice. He was removed from his parents' guardianship and placed with us. Thank you for letting me know. Is he okay? Hizashi all but yelled in concern. He will be, not for a while. You brought him in with severe hypothermia to the point his organs were already on the verge of breaking down. What has been done to help him recover? We have put him on a drip, which is administering warm fluids in an attempt to raise his temperature, and four warm cotton blankets have been tucked around him. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Doc. Midoriya will be kept in intensive care until his core temperature rises to a certain temperature, which will take a while with the state he came in. Can we see him now? Asked Shota. Certainly. Just to warn you, though, he is still unconscious. Chapter 7. Obo isn't really sure how long it's been since his friends found Izuku on the verge of death and rushed him to the hospital. He remembers the pure panic on both their faces when they finally found him. Shota may have been able to school his expression, but he could still see the worry in his eyes. Hizashi was a different story, where he laid eyes on the kid, his face drained of color. While his best friends couldn't go past the double doors due to hospital policy, he, on the other hand, didn't have to listen to that because he was going to see a ghost breaking the rules. Obo made sure to follow the doctors at a distance as they wheeled Izuku away to a private room in the ICU. Settling himself into the corner of Izuku's assigned room, he sits and watches as doctors and nurses hook him up the IVs and heart monitors that show a worryingly slow beat. He watches as they tuck multiple warm cotton blankets around him in an attempt to raise his core temperature. Time kept ticking for what felt like hours before Obo saw his high school best friend slowly open the door to Izuku. hospital room and walk in. Worry clear on Hizashi's face, and surprisingly, even Shota's face is easy to read and holds just as much worry as his husband's. Shota and Hizashi followed the doctor down a hallway in the ICU until they reached a private room. Thanking the doctor, they turned toward the door, and Shota reached forward to suddenly slide it open, revealing a medium-sized room that held a single bed in the middle that his student was laying on. Walking into the room, they pulled 2 hard plastic chairs towards the bed so they can sit right next to him. He looks so pale and small laying in that hospital bed. Yeah, I hate this. I hate that we couldn't stop this from happening. We never knew what was going on. The little sister didn't want us to know. We had to try and figure it out on our own. So there's no way we could have found out sooner on this week. He came to one of us and told us what was going on. Maybe not. Maybe we may have not have known, but we did suspect that there was a problem. The most important thing is that we are trying to figure it out with the scarce information we had. Okay? Yeah, okay. So what's the plan here? First, we should call the detective over and explain the situation, as well as sign emergency foster care paperwork to prevent him from going to the system, and so we can watch over him, making sure he's okay. Sounds good so far. I say the second thing we need to do is fetch anything we think he will want from his room, as well as buy him 1 or 2 comfort items, since I doubt he has any. Sounds like a plan. I will call the detective and have him come over. Can you grab him stuff? No problem. I'll be back soon. Don't take too long. The detective will want to speak to you as well. I'll make sure I'm back in time to speak with him. Goodbye. Bye, Sho. It didn't take long for Hizashi to get his car started and get onto the road. Turning right, he started on his way back to Midoriya's apartment. He's glad that he and Shota always store a few bags in their boot in case they needed them, because otherwise this would be a slightly tiring task. Parking the car as close to the entrance he could, Hizashi grabbed 2 bags from the boot and made his way up all the stairs until he was standing outside apartment number 55. Making his way in, he ignored the broken door and got to work. He started with the basement, and they found him in. When seeing nothing but ice, Hizashi made his way to what he guessed was Midoriya's bedroom, if the bright yellow school bag was anything to go by. Looking around, he noticed there were a lot less stuff than he thought there would be, but nonetheless, he started packing up all his notebooks and whatever school supplies would not fit in the school bag. Next, he packed up the only art journal he could find. When that was done, Hizashi opened the kid's closet, but all the clothes he had, which was not a lot, only a few outfits, had either holes in them or looked too small to be comfortable, so he left those alone. Hizashi was about to leave when he saw something hidden under the kid's old bed. Crouching down, he pulled out a green and cream-colored baby blanket that was very soft and fluffy and had small bunnies stitched into it. Opening the blanket out, he found another item that looked to be also from when he was a baby, which was a fluffy green bunny stuffed animal that had long ears. Smiling softly to himself, Hizashi gently placed those items in the second bag he brought. After that, he stood up, doing one last look around the room, and then walked back to his car. On his way back to the hospital, he took a detour to the mall that was closest by, just to get a few things for the little listener for when he woke up. He bought a few pairs of fuzzy socks with bunnies and cats on them, 2 soft hoodies, and one that was cream-colored with bunny ears on the hood and paws on the sleeves. And the second one was a simple deep blue with stripes on the sleeves and hem. Even though the kid already had 2 comfort items from when he was a baby, Hizashi still brought him a king-size light blue blanket that had a gray and white bunnies on it, as well as another bunny stuffy, except this one is cream in color, with purple paws and inner ears. On his way out, Hizashi got some art pencils and art journals, notebooks, and colored pens for his notebooks. Now that he was finally done, he drove back to the hospital and carried the bags up to Midoriya's room, where his husband was waiting. It was about 20 minutes later that 20 minutes after his husband had left, that Shota heard knocking on the door. Opening it, he found Detective Sukauchi. Morning, Aizawa. Morning. Thank you for coming on short notice. It's not a problem. I will help in any way I can regarding your student. Great. Come on. Hisashi will be here soon. He just went to get some things. That's not a problem. I can start with your statement and do his when he gets here. Sounds good. The detective proceeded to place a small recording device on the table between them and press record. This is Detective Sukauchi questioning Eraserhead, aka Aizawa Shota, in regard to his student being abandoned by his parents. For legal purposes, I have to state that my quirk allows me to identify between the truth and lies. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Truth. Are you a teacher at UA? Yes, I am. Truth. Is Midoriya Izuku your student? Yes, he is. Truth. Why did you come to the conclusion that he needed help? Hisashi and I have been concerned about his home life, so when he didn't come to school and weren't sent an email about it, he went to Nezu and he hacked the cameras that looked onto his apartment building. Truth. What did you find out in the camera footage? We found that Midoriya's parents left the house with suitcases, but he was nowhere to be found. Truth. How did you know he was in the house? The cameras caught him entering the house but never leaving. Truth. What did you find when you entered the house? During our first sweep of the place, we found nothing except a few things in his bedroom, but not him. Truth. And during your second sweep, we found a hidden door that led to what seemed like a basement turned industrial freezer, and in the corner was Midoriya suffering from hypothermia. We then brought him to the hospital where we are now. Truth. Alright, last question. Where are you and President Mike, aka Yama Hisashi, together the whole time? Yes, we were. Truth. Alright then, I see no need to question President Mike. With that, the detective reached forward and switched the recorder off. Thank you for taking on this case. Not a problem at all. I hope Midoriya wakes up soon. Same for me. Well, I have to get back to the station. I'll contact you if I find anything. That's really appreciated. Thank you. Anytime. Bye. See you around. Sukauchi then turned around and walked out the door a few minutes before Hisashi walked in carrying a few bags. Hisashi, please tell me you didn't do what I think you did. I did not do what you think I did. Oh, really? Then why are you carrying 3 bags of stuff for Midoriya? Okay, fine. I may have gotten more than I originally intended, but he deserves to feel comfortable while stuck in the overly sterile hospital. Zashi, the kid isn't even awake. That's okay. The doctor did say he'll wake. He said he will wake up. It's just a matter of time. What did you even buy? It took his husband nearly 20 minutes before he was done gushing and explaining all the things he had bought, ranging from comfort to things he can do to keep himself occupied when he wakes up. Time skip. Shota and Hisashi's worry was increasing more by the day. It had only been 2.5 days since they had brought Midoriya here, and he has yet to wake up. His core temperature has risen, but not to a level where the doctors feel comfortable, and he still had very pale skin with slightly blue-tinted lips. That's the end of this chapter. For the meantime, I will get back to you if there's any continuation. The next fic I will be reading is going to be called They're Gamer Nerds, Your Honor. It's a four chapter story, and I'll get back to you on this one as soon as Andrew's JK finishes with their exams. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time on Shota Podfics.